tonight here in Wheatland, and it's time to let the late models loose for 20 laps. Edmondson and Johnny Fennewald bring them around through 1 and 2, and Edmondson dives down into turn number 3, followed by Fennewald and Josh Poe. Caden Cornell back in 4th. As they complete their first circuit around the diamond of dirt tracks. Poe, a strong move down the backstretch, will slide underneath Fennewald. He bounces through 3 and 4. Poe gets his nose out in front of the 21 as they both chase. Phil Edmondson, who spins it in turn 2, saves it, dives through the infield and tries to hold on to the 3rd spot as he tries to fight off Caden Cornell.
Boy, Josh Poe's lucky day as he was right behind Edmondson. He nearly clipped him, but got past and secured
standings and looking to make his way toward the top of the series point standings here. Bodenhammer comes together, and the Cowboy Daniel Jessen sends the 2B around. Fennewald will slam his foot to the floor and take the green flag. A great restart for the 21 here as he dive bombs into turn number 1.
Jason Civils loses it over in turn 4. He comes to a rest on the infield. He's off the racing track, so they will stay green off of turn 4.
Hard racing behind your race leader now. Cordray, Morant, and Poe all getting together. Tommy Cordray coming away with the 2nd spot. The Flash firing on all cylinders as he runs it to the green flag. Fennewald through the middle of the track. Morant mashing it around the top of the racetrack. Caden Cornell behind him, but he's got company as both Poes are to the inside to the young man from Willard. Aaron Poe and Josh Poe. And Josh Poe falling back, runs into John Benning, and they both hit the wall on the front stretch. He puts the hammer down, and we go back to racing. Cordray behind him. Aaron Morant slings it around through turn 1 and 2. And Caden Cornell and Aaron Poe go side by side on the exit of 2. Fennewald works his way around turn number 4 now and comes under the flag stand. Cordray behind him. Morant still trying that high line, trying to find something up there. A little bit of tack, a little bit of push, but they are spread out. 4 or 5 car lengths between your leader, Fennewald, and the next closest car. 1 lap to go now. And Cordray now barrels to the bottom of the racetrack. Morant around the top side. Your top 5 cars all spread out as Fennewald flies through turn number 4, and the Flash will finish in the top spot as the checkers fly.
Robert Heidenreich, what a story it'd be for him after his car was all torn up just a few short weeks ago. Completely rebuilt it. He will lead him across the line, one of your heat race winners tonight, but he's got plenty of company with Robbie Ewing, who also saw the checkers in a heat race earlier. They stay side by side. Your current point leader in J.C. Morton right behind him in 3rd. First time around, they get the first lap in, as it is a great race up front with some heavy hitters. You've also got the 00T of Taylor Moore, 2nd in the point standings, back in 4th. As a melee back deep in the field, Derek Watson gets involved. His left side all crumpled up. It is Ewing who takes lap number 2. 4, 5, 6 cars all up in front. 3-car battle for the lead. Taylor to the high side. The 32. That's Ewing in the middle. Heidenreich down low. He's found some sticky stuff. He pole vaults out into 2nd, but it's Taylor Moore out in front.
Moore with a great move, but you are right. That is a murderer's row of names up there. Chris Jackson now trying to make it 4 across as they enter turn number 3. Heidenreich, though, still able to push out in front of them, but they're all chasing the 00.
Well, Taylor Moore, your midseason champion, sits with 6 top 5s, still looking for his first feature win as he is continuing to build on that lead. 0.7 seconds last time across. Now everybody's going to go either top side or low. As Jackson stays low, J.C. Morton goes high, trying to both make up ground on your race leader. That is Taylor Moore. Jackson has the advantage off of turn 2 this time with Morton to the high side. Heidenreich's fallen all the way back to 4th, and Ewing, who was out front, is back in 5th. He's got company as Eric Turner looks to take over that position across the line. Turner will have it as he moves up to 5th with Ewing beside him in 6th. Jackson now up front has cleared J.C. Morton. He has his eyes set on Taylor Moore. The crosshairs are locked on the 00, right on the back bumper. They both go low. That's where Jackson has had his most success. But Taylor Moore has the advantage. Moore goes low through 1 and 2, high through 3 and 4. He gets up into that loose stuff, but still has enough momentum to keep the lead that time across.
That differential, though, is down to next to nothing for Jackson and Moore as J.C. Morton trails around behind him. Watch this time those two different lines that you were talking about. This time, same lines, same result as that 00 gets a great bite and a great push on the exit of 4 and holds on to the lead for yet another lap.
During heat races and the B for the B mods, that high line was not the place to be. Cars were getting up into the loose stuff, tagging the wall, coming down off across traffic and causing some serious incidences. Now you see Moore and J.C. Morton using that high line to their advantage. It's kept Taylor Moore out in front, but now's where it starts to get fun. Lap traffic in front of the field. We are 10 laps into this 25-lap feature, and Quentin Taylor is going to have to navigate traffic and get through the field and also keep Chris Jackson behind him. He's got 2 cars fighting for position up in front of him. It's Ryan Reynolds, or Rich Reynolds that is, in the 7, and the 21 of Frazee down low. Chris Jackson tries to go to the inside, use the 21F as a pick, and he'll do it successfully across that time. Jackson has the lead, but Taylor Moore doesn't give up on it. He stays right beside him, then finally falls back in line off of 2. Lap traffic lets Chris Jackson get out in front.
It's really 3 cars now as Robert Heidenreich continues to fall back now in lap traffic. You continue to watch Jackson and Moore, but J.C. Morton slides around the top of the racetrack and continues to stay in the top 2 cars' rear view.
Okay, Chris Jackson has liked the low side, but now he's got Ellis in front of him. He's going to have to find a way to get around him. Might have to go high just to do it, as Ellis is next in line. Scheffler has a tank slapper coming out of turn 2. Finally gets it righted, and he is the next in line to go down by Chris Jackson. Moore up top has Morton now behind him. That'll be a fight for second if J.C. Morton's able to get around the lap traffic as well and catch up with Taylor Moore. Moore still 3 car lengths behind Chris Jackson off of 2, so that's those top 3 cars now undoubtedly have separated themselves from the rest of the field. Jackson out in front, 0.7 seconds behind is Taylor Moore, then another 0.7 seconds behind them is J.C. Morton.
J.C. Morton was the race winner the last time the Ozark Golf Cars USRA B mods were in action here. He took home the top spot that night, but he's got 2 spots to move up here as he's got to try and pick off the midseason points champ and your race leader here, and the laps continue to click away.
Chris Jackson has Watkins in front of him now. That's the next car to put a lap down, and boy, Watkins had a great run earlier in the evening as well. He was up front the entire way through his heat race, and now Watkins finally gives way to Chris Jackson. Jackson now will have Austin Joplin next to pass to stay out in front. Taylor still has the sizable advantage over J.C. Morton.
Watkins still racing, Shane. He wasn't giving that spot up too easily to Jackson. Continuing that side-by-side racing, and Jackson really gets surrounded by a couple of car lengths here as they enter turn number 1.
Well, Ricky Watkins is still 10th in points, so he knows how valuable every single position is. Quentin Taylor will have to go top shelf again to get around Ricky Watkins. This will complete lap 25 left to go. Jackson mired in traffic now. That will allow Taylor Moore to make up some ground up on the high side. Taylor Moore off of turn 4 now. This time the lead has been cut down to 1.1 seconds. He's made up a little bit of ground, but not much.
A bigger gap, almost 2 seconds back to J.C. Morton in third. And it looks like this race is just going to come down to those 3 cars unless something changes. The rest of the top 5, Robert Heidenreich in 4th, Eric Turner in 5th.
Only 3 laps remaining as Jackson has Don Cloyd now to pass. Next car to go a lap down. Taylor Moore to the low side this time. He'll get around 2 cars that time around as he crosses the line with 2 laps to go.
Taylor Moore has been so consistent all year long, Shane, but the one thing that continues to elude him is a race win. He's been at the top of the points. He's been in the top 5. He's been in the top 10, but he has not been to victory lane.
Well, he will have some work to do if he's going to do it this time as the white flag is out. And what a run by Chris Jackson again, working his way through the field of lap traffic. And as he exits turn 4, he will eye the checkered flag and grab the feature win tonight. For your Big O Tires Street Stocks, about ready to see the green. Here's Corey.
23 cars going to go 20 laps here for the Street Stock Series. Toby Ott and Brian Shute bring him around 1 and 2, and Shoots out in front. Ted Welshmeyer trying to follow in his tracks. Hendricks right behind them as there are 5 cars working their way through 3 and 4 and a gaggle of cars behind them. As we click off lap number 1, Brian Shute leads them around lap number 1 in that 1-800 name tape. Big O Tires Street Stock car. Toby Ott, the 2017 track champion, now pulls up right behind him as they enter turn number 4. Shute got a win here back on April 21st. Brian has the same luck this time. A 51 fires it into turn number 1, slides up the track in 2. Toby Ott and Mark Carter battle door to door as they chase Brian Shute, your race leader. Shute in first, Carter in second, Ott in third, Ted Welshmeyer in 4th. Bobby Rattery in 5th. That's just how they lined up on the last 2 restarts now. Car still trying to get stretched out here. Packed up in a lot of traffic, making its way through turn number 4. Everybody gets through clean that time. David Hendricks has picked up about 4 spots on the restart as he's banging on the back of the wagon of Josh Holbrook. We go green once again. Ted Welshmeyer now pressing the issue and pressing his way around the 27 of Toby Ott. Mark Carter trying to fall in behind the 51. Shute able to hold off the 21. And Ott through the middle of the track trying to take his spot back from Welshmeyer. Johnny Coates on the move now. Splits a pair of cars, goes around Rattery in the 94 of Kenny Carroll. They'll be almost 3 across as they come out of turn number 4. Coates beats them out in front, and they line up going down the front straight.
You know, you get a feeling that Mark Carter would really like to run that low line, but with Brian Shute there, he doesn't have the ability to do it. So he's going to have to find a way, a half a groove up, middle of the track, all the way up to the top side to get around him.
Kenny Carroll also trying to navigate the top side of the Lucas Oil Speedway. Goes high, dives down low, and comes right on the back bumper of Ted Welshmeyer as they work their way through 1 and 2. And now Mark Carter charging around the outside, trying to take the spot away from Shute, and Shute trying to take it right back. And there's Mark Carter. He will lead him around lap number 7.
Well, that pass took an entire lap to set up as he got to the outside across the start-finish line, stayed there an entire lap around. But Brian Shute on that low line gets so much of a run that Mark Carter's unable to come across the nose and complete that pass.
Shute holds him off again 8 laps in, but Carter gets a bit of a run off too. Now this time Shute will try to slide up in front of him. And our 2 race leaders are about to come upon the 618 here. It'll be some 1-lap car to deal with here for them as they reach the midway point here of our 20-lap feature. Good race back for 5th as Kenny Carroll continues to work on the 21W of Ted Welshmeyer. Mark Carter will lead that lap as he has cleared Shute. Now both cars will try to get around the 618.
They will clear them easily, and Mark Carter has found a good line, about a groove up from that lowest line that Brian Shute has been using all night long, and now Carter out to a good little lead of 3 car lengths, 0.6 seconds over Brian Shute.
How about Johnny Coates? Started in 12th tonight. He is in the top 5, currently in 4th place, and the Buckhorn Bullet comes beating his way through the field around Kenny Carroll, Ted Welshmeyer, and David Hendricks, boys, may be in that 1%.
Oh, he has worked his way up to the top 5.
From dead last after a collision to a top 5, and there's plenty of laps to go. Mark Carter continues to cruise out in front. He wrenched the lead away from Brian Shute about 3 laps ago. Carter to Shute, Toby Ott in 3rd, Johnny Coates in 4, and David Hendricks in 5th. And now Hendricks turns his attention to Joplin, Missouri's Johnny Coates.
How much would David Hendricks love to see a caution right now? Get that gap to him and that top 2 or first 2 cars cut down and make a run for it.
Mark Carter comes underneath the tower again. 0.7 seconds the difference between him and Brian Shute in 2nd place. Shute trying to close the gap a little bit as they make their way down the back straightaway. Hendricks had gotten around Johnny Coates, and the 35 comes fighting right back with 5 laps to go here. Carter comes back around and makes it 4 laps to go now. The 21 battled and chased that 51 Shane around the racetrack. Finally got around him and is starting to expand the difference between 1st and 2nd.
And he has not changed his line at all. He has stayed right where it is, and the track has really come to him as they continue to work their way through lap traffic.
He now tries to get underneath the 1D of Daniel Deason from Bolivar, Missouri, as they drive side by side into turn number 3 now. Carter and Brian Shute continue to run 1 and 2. Shute has finished 2nd twice to David Hendricks, 1 other time, and has 1 race win, but right now he is in that familiar 2nd spot again with 2 laps to go. Hendricks now up to 4th as the white flag is shown for Mark Carter. Hendricks trying to run down Toby Ott, who's currently in 3rd. But it's all about the 21 of Mark Carter. He started in 6th place, and the man from Warrensburg, Missouri, is going to wheel his race car to a victory here tonight in the Big O Tire Street Stock Series.
And they will put on a show here tonight. 20 times around, the green flag flies, and Evan Hubert first across the line on that high side, looking to take over that top spot from Jones as they're 3 wide off of 2. Mike Striegel, banged up shoulder and all, stays right with those top 2 cars on the high side, and Lucas Gibbs, the Udall, Kansas native, on that low line, finishes out your top four. The top four cars have started to pull away from the rest of the field here in the early going. A little contact between Gibbs and Striegel, and that will make them all single file as they have to get out of the gas and stretch things out here in the opening laps.
Evan Hubert leads them around lap number 2. Hubert with 2 victories in a modified here this year, back on May 25th and June 16th. The 27-year-old winning one of the 3 nights of the Show Me 100 earlier this season.
And he has been consistent all season long, as well as the Gold Digger has 7 top 10s to his credit throughout the season, so he has been up front all season long. It's Hubert, Jones, and now Mike Striegel and Lucas Gibbs will go back at it side by side. That's a fight for third. We'll focus in on that as Hubert starts to pull away. Even though those 2 cars are still fighting for third, they have been able to keep up with Chase Jones, who is up in second. Then you go back to Pursley and Cutshaw. They're side by side. That's a battle for fifth, as Gibbs is finally able to get out in front but not clear Mike Striegel. That fight for third.
Striegel likes the power that new motor is giving him. They made the change just a day ago, dropped that 525 crate motor in there, and he thinks it's got a little bit more than what he had before, but right now he can't get back around Lucas Gibbs.
Well, he might have a little more horsepower, but the 3 cars out in front of him might be handling just a little bit better, and Evan Hubert is proof of that. He has stayed right in the middle of the track where it's slick, and he is just able to keep that momentum up. Had a chance to chat, that is, with Jeff Cutshaw last week, and I asked him why it was taking so long for him to get his car dialed in, and he says you have to have a really good setup. It's all about momentum, able to get into the turn, keep the momentum up, stay on the gas, and then able to fly off the corner. So you might have a car with a lot of horsepower, but it's all about the setup and how you get it to turn through the corners. And even though Striegel might have the horses, may not quite have the setup.
Well, remember now, Striegel doesn't have more horses necessarily than another car because he's running a crate engine as opposed to an open one. That usually gives up the horsepower. It allows him to have a couple more inches on the spoiler, but he's had a good run. Jeff Cutshaw has made his way to victory lane this year, has 5 top 5s. He knows what it takes to win at this track, a 4-time track champion, and now he and Striegel will be side by side behind Lucas Gibbs.
So 9 laps in, and right now the fight's for second. This is a fun one to watch right here as they're 3 wide. Striegel will cut way down on Cutshaw, force him way down to the inside, but Cutshaw says, who cares? I'll still make that pass, get around the 17. So Lucas Gibbs now out in second. Chase Jones stays high in that 0-3 car for third, and Cutshaw has picked his way up through the field, trying to get past and clear Striegel and Chase Jones. What a race this is from second through fifth.
But it's still allowing that golden number 9 to just run away and hide. A over 3-second differential between Evan Hubert and Lucas Gibbs now, as Hubert is checking out, as you're getting a great race from second to fourth between these 4 cars.
Well, I think Evan Hubert's car is just that good because Lucas Gibbs has still been able to run the line and the tempo that he wants, and Hubert's just pulling away from him continually lap after that lap. Gibbs stays way down to the low side, gets that left front tire down on that wet stuff, and is able to keep his momentum going down on the low side. He's got Cutshaw behind him now, just barely cuts right behind the back bumper of Lucas Gibbs as Hubert now starts to catch up with lap traffic. It's the 24 of Donnie Fellers. That'll be the first one to go a lap down as they continue to tick off laps one after another in this 20-lap feature. They're now 14 in with 6 to go.
And lap after lap, Evan Hubert continues to expand the lead, now over 4.5 seconds between he and the next closest race car, and that's the 51G as it makes its way under the flag stand.
Hubert now full straightaway advantage over Lucas Gibbs, just over 4 seconds. Second place has not really been contested as of late, but it's third on back with Cutshaw. On the low side, the 0-3 of Chase Jones continuing to carry momentum off the top side of 4 and go side by side with Jeff Cutshaw for third. That's for third and fourth. And then your top five, Mike Striegel has now been content back in fifth. With 17 laps left, that will make 3 laps to go in this 20-lap feature.
The rest of the field, Jason Pursley in 6th, Tracy Wolf in 7th, Eric Turner in 8th, and Donnie Fellers running back in 9th.
2 laps left, and now it's just a time trial situation for Evan Hubert. Just go out, run quick laps, tick the last 2 off, and pick up your 3rd feature win of the season.
Evan Hubert has 5 wins here at the Lucas Oil Speedway, 2 in his modified, 3 when he used to run a late model. Victory here tonight with 1 lap to go will give him as many modified wins as he has late model wins here in Wheatland.
So the number 9 through turns 3 and 4. The gold car, the gold digger, will strike gold again as he sees the checkered flags. For the 3rd time this season, Evan Hubert wins. Lucas Gibbs in 2nd,